My high school sex ed teacher was a virgin and couldn't tell you what a clitoris was any easier than I could tell you where to find it. So I never had a great education on the birds and the bees, which meant I had to learn everything the natural, hard way. On women's scale of wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole to would smash at any time, no questions asked, I imagine as a man with low self-esteem and very niche charm that I placed somewhere in the maybe after this drink I would area. That meant that those hard lessons didn't come fast and frequent. It was just in my luck then that buying a pass to the Ark came with a pass to the Creation Museum. It had been my last night at the bus and it had been a lovely stay, so I said my goodbyes and headed out to my next destination. It was somewhat of a gray, depressing day, and an apt one to learn about how I came to exist in the world. All right, Creation Museum time. Time to find out how I was made. Entering the arches of the museum, the scenery was actually quite lovely. Walking into the museum, it kind of reminded me of Jurassic Park. I guess part of the creationist theory is that humans coexisted with dinosaurs, which would have been cool, if true. It wasn't the only eyebrow-raising thing, though, as I came across this panel which argued that biology is racist, or something. I came to understand that much of the first room of the museum was dedicated towards discrediting evolutionary theory to prove creationist theory. While the Ark had a little bit of that, it wasn't nearly as brazen as the stuff in this museum. The second room was very cool and atmospheric, though, and had sections about Jesus and stuff. I was enjoying the plaques, but I felt as though something called the Creation Museum should be more experiential. I got just that when the place turned into a literal walkthrough of the Adam and Eve story.
Adam to see what he would do. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof.
It seems like Adam and Eve were a very happy couple. Then I walked through the Cave of Sorrows, which had pictures of 9/11. Or maybe just New York in general. From there, it was time to read more about the chronology of Adam's sin and where dinosaurs fit into the mix. I got to walk by some more figurines, some of which directly talked to me, which was nice.
I knew Adam.
I got to see some more stuff about Noah's Ark and the dinosaurs. Then I walked through a gift shop and some cafe area, ultimately reaching the birthing tunnel. I was reminded of my pending paternity test from a Minneapolis stripper. I had been hoping that the test would be negative, but for a brief moment through this tunnel, I thought that maybe a child wouldn't be so bad. There is beauty in every creation, and so why wouldn't I want that? For a moment, I actually looked fondly on a positive test, but then I remembered my bank account and quickly reverted back to my original position. The indoor exhibit was very rewarding, and it was time to explore the outside. The nature was lovely, and I enjoyed just being able to walk through and soak it all in. This path led to some rather cool-looking animals. One of whom looked like the Minneapolis stripper, who may be the mother of my child. I then came across a playground. I'm a firm believer that one should be open to trying all that an attraction has to offer, so I decided to give it a go. I continued down the path, observing the nature. In the constant ugliness of today's age, I had forgotten all of the beauty that the world has to offer. I imagine these plants and trees show more life than the people who planted them. It was a beautiful reminder that sometimes the most valuable things in the world aren't what we're trying to create, but what we already have. After my nature walk, I was very hungry and decided to eat at Noah's Cafe. It was overpriced and not great. It was enough to get me on the road and moving towards my next destination, though. I rather liked the idea of keeping my Airbnbs a mystery before arriving, so I booked an affordable one in the middle of West Virginia, 4.5 hours away. Kentucky had treated me well, and I found great reward in the many things that I experienced in my short time there. It was time for me to go someplace new, though. The fourth poorest state in the U.S., the mountain state of West Virginia.